Good evening, everyone. Tonight we've got Joe Ford on for our second part of his story. Um, Obviously, he'll be on in a little bit. I just want to announce, obviously, who is on for Monday's show. So Monday's show is Justin. He was the ex Lewisham Borough manager, and now is the assistant at South Park. Also, we have Damien Ruggett from the Ireland six-a-side team. We also have Dean Carpenter, Carps, who plays for Kenningwell on a Sunday, well known in the non-league scene as well. We also have, I've forgotten the last one, but it will come to me in a minute. But yeah, tonight obviously we've got Joe Ford on again. We'll wait for a few other people to come in. Any questions you've got for Joe or myself, more than happy to answer them if we can. Obviously, these shows have been about mental health. They've been going really well. Joe was on a few weeks ago as well, and he wanted to return to obviously tonight after a hard week, obviously. But I'll let Joe obviously talk about it. And we're just going to talk about how his recovery is also as well from our last chat. So yeah, I'll get Joe on in a second. Let me just... Yeah, so 1 second, we just connect it. Good evening, Joe.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah, not bad, mate, not bad. So yeah, obviously I've mentioned that it's been a hard week for yourself, obviously, and your family. A lot of people obviously know about it, but I'll let you touch on obviously about it in a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to also obviously talk about your recovery and from the last time when you come on and how you're doing as well. And obviously, yeah, hopefully there'll be some questions if maybe you can answer or I can answer as well about mental health in general as well. And how we're all going. Just before, obviously, we started the live. I said to you, we're going to obviously dedicate this live to your dad. Great guy, and a lot of people obviously have been putting out a lot of messages this week and everything like that. So, first of all, would you like to obviously thank anyone for the messages this week?
Yeah, mate. I've been inundated with messages, as you can imagine. Hundreds of messages from people, all sending their support, which has been absolutely unbelievable, as well as friends and family. Yeah, I can't thank anyone enough, really, mate. To be honest, it'd be unfair of me to name individuals. Just to everyone that's obviously sent a message in these hard times, a big thank you from me, my mum, and my sister, and my granddad. Yeah, it's been quite unbelievable, to be honest with you. So massive thank you to everyone.
Yeah, no, I can't echo that enough. Obviously, I've been messaging you as well, and it's just been a hard time, obviously, especially with everything what's going on at the moment as well. And it's just that tops it off as well. But we'll let you touch on it, obviously, and everything like that as well. From the last time you was on, obviously, you spoke about having sepsis and your recovery and everything like that. How's that been going on since obviously the last time we spoke and
Yeah, really good.
obviously in lockdown?
Yeah, really good, mate. To be honest with you, the lockdown's probably done me a big favour because obviously the world's come to a bit of a standstill. So it sort of allows me to crack on with my recovery while there's nothing going on. I'm not missing work really because that's stopped, and not missing out on a lot of things that I probably would have been if the world was carrying on as normal. So in that respect of things, it's been a lot. It's been a lot easier for me. In terms of my recovery itself, it's going really well, mate. I feel stronger and stronger every day. My left foot is now sort of starting to get a little bit more feeling back into it because it was completely dead. And yeah, obviously I'm walking pretty well on my prosthetic limb now as well. So yeah, mate, I can't really complain about the recovery. It's going really well.
Yeah, that's good. Obviously, the main subject, probably why we've come on, obviously, tonight is about your dad. Do you want to start with how or why you wanted to come on in general?
Yeah, of
Really?
course. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, after I'd done my live on here, and my dad was in a position to speak, we sort of had a little chat up in the bedroom, and I said to him, "Look, like I'm thinking about go on and share your story for you, because there's so many people that obviously respect my old man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people that probably didn't know the full story, and I
Yeah.
right that I sort of told it, you know what I mean, and sort of let people know what actually happened, because a lot of people just assume that it was just a quick it was a quick thing, don't get me wrong, but they just assumed that's it, like he got cancer, but there was a lot more to it, you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
Back, if I'm honest with you, so I just wanted to sort of come on to give his full story, really, if that makes sense. And it's something that I know that, like I said to you earlier, he would have wanted to, if it one person, this story, then that's something that my dad would have wanted. So yeah, I just felt it was the right thing to do, to be honest.
Of course. So yeah, instead of letting me talk, I'll let you talk, Joe. And obviously, I'll stop you here and there if I've got any questions, and if there's any questions, what come in here. So yeah, you just want to go ahead and obviously let people know his story from your point of view, and obviously his point of view, and the family's point of view. What it really started with,
Yeah.
because as you said, we probably thought, oh, it's just been announced that he's got terminal cancer, and it's just out of the blue.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to obviously start with the story, that's fine. I'll let you do it.
Yeah. So it started quite a while back. Obviously, I was in, as you know, I was in hospital for quite a long time, and I remember when I was in the rehab centre, my dad sort of, when he come to visit me, started to not sort of be nothing too serious, but just mention that he had pains in his leg. And for those that don't know, my dad's a chauffeur by trade, so he just put it down to the fact that he was sort of on and off the clutch in the car all the time. Just put it down to a bit of a driving injury at first. So this was probably like October, November time. But it didn't seem to go away. And he kept complaining about it and kept complaining about it. But my dad, being my dad, didn't want a fuss made because of what I was going through, if I'm honest with you.
Of course.
And I think that he just thought it would be something that went away. And then sort of, it was only really around Christmas time that we started to think that there might be a problem. It might be a little bit more serious than what we thought. And he went to the hospital, obviously, to get it checked out around Christmas time, because it was just giving him so much ag. People will laugh, but he couldn't even go to the pub, Jamie. You know what I mean? And it's not like he be my old man. So he started to even come home from the pub early. So that's when we knew something was wrong. But ultimately, he went and had it checked out. And at first, they thought it was something called a DVT, which is like a deep vein thrombosis, they called it. What they thought it was at first, and they sort of sent him away and said to him that there'd be further tests down the line, but give him some painkillers, if that makes sense, and come back in the new year. So that's what he done. He done exactly that. He sort of in the new year time went back, and he basically got checked out again, and they sort of said to him that they think that it could be something a little bit more serious, but we didn't really know what that meant, to be honest with you. They never sort of mentioned the C word, if that makes sense.
No.
A little bit later down the line, but obviously he was in a lot of pain, a real lot of pain, and it was only really February time that we sort of knew that it was starting to affect him. You know what I mean? And basically, from that point onwards, he had to have a scan. He had to have a PET scan. And from that PET scan, they revealed that he had things showing up in his liver, spots on his liver that they could see from the PET scan, as well as the leg. And obviously, that's when they found out that it was cancer, which comes as quite a shock to everyone, as you can imagine.
Of course.
None more so than himself, who took the news quite bad, if I'm honest with you, Jay. He didn't react well to it at all. I think when people get told they've got cancer, they just assume the worst straight away.
Yeah, 100%.
And obviously, from his mindset, I think he thought that was the end. You know what I mean? Yeah, obviously that was a really tough time. from February time, and then towards the end of February, when things transpired a little bit more and we got more details about what was going on, he was told the news that in early March that he'd have 18 to 20 months to live. That's how quick and aggressive this cancer was. It was a sarcoma in his leg, and it was obviously spread to his lungs and it spread to his liver. And it was growing at a rapid rate, and he was basically told that it was something that they hoped that they could treat through chemotherapy, but he had one lot of chemo, and it was quite a build up to that as well, because you get given the news that chemo might sort of make your life a little bit longer. You might have a little bit more time to live, and that's what we was all hoping. You know what I mean? We was hoping this could have an effect on him, but as it turned out, the chemo reacted quite badly to him and probably made things worse. I'm not 100% sure, but worse, because he was never the same after that first chemo treatment, to be honest with you. And yeah, and then obviously we was given the devastating news that it would be more 2 to 3 months than the 18 to 20 months that he was given originally. So again, another bit of devastating news for him. Sorry, mate, I'm just moving this cursor. Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, so obviously after that happened, we was then told by the nurses and the doctors that it was just growing. It was growing. It was out of control. It wasn't something that they was going to be able to get rid of. It wasn't something that they was going to be able to treat. He went to the Royal Marsden Hospital in London, and they've done the best they can with him. But he kind of started to, in the best way possible to describe it, he sort of started to lose it a little bit in terms of his mind, talking quite a lot of nonsense and not making any sense to any of us. And to be honest with you, that's when I knew that I probably lost him. You know what I mean, Jamie? And,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Realised that we didn't have long left.
No, of course. Obviously, and that happened, and it's happened this week. When you obviously realised this to the nearest point, obviously, as you say, when he started talking, about different things, what you might not have understood, and obviously he didn't understand at the time as well. Obviously, that must have been a mental strain. Obviously, then, or what we're gonna do, how we're gonna speak to him, and everything like that. Even if he did survive, you know what I mean. At that time, what was your mind, and would you feel your family were going through, obviously, at that time as well?
Well, we was obviously told before Dad knew. We was told before Dad knew about it. Actually got told the news. She was at the hospital with him at the time, and by law they have to tell how serious it is, basically, and they do need to tell them through law. That's what we were told anyway. And obviously it was heartbreaking, because you sort of saw him deteriorate from what he was even more when he was given the news. You know what I mean? And because he wasn't fully with it at the time, we had to keep trying to, which was heartbreaking as well. We had to keep trying to explain it to him, and sort of, keep telling him that this was what had been said, and this is basically what you've got left, and this is what we've got to do, and you've got to try and fight it as much as you can. But to be fair, Jamie, it was such an aggressive cancer that it was just unfightable. It just got to a point where he completely deteriorated within a matter of days, to be honest with you. Next, I just saw it in his face. He was deteriorating every day, and that's hard. That's really hard to watch someone that you've obviously grown up with all your life through football. By his side, you know what I mean, through probably a lot more than what ordinary kids are with their dad. I was with my dad 24/7, sort of 7 days a week. You know what I mean? If I weren't at VCD with him, I was at work with him. It was just like a really strong relationship that I had with him. So that was really difficult to see him deteriorate and realise that you're never going to get that bloke back again that's been in your life and who's been around for you and that's been so strong for you. You know what I mean? Especially when I was ill, like he was a rock. You know what I mean? Sometimes. As well as my mum and my sister, but obviously with him, he was my everything. You know what I mean, Jamie? With the greatest respect, he was my hero. So obviously it was a real tough one to sort of keep explaining to him and trying to. I mean, how do you tell someone that they're going to die? You know what I mean? It's it's heart-wrenching, really, when you think about it. And to be fair, like, to him, with the greatest respect, even though he was deteriorating and he was scared, he was really scared, but I think anyone in that position would be. But he was brave. He was really brave with it. You know what I mean? He was in a lot of pain, Jamie, and the doctors spoke to my mum, I think, after he died, and explained to her in more detail just about how much pain he would have been in with this kind of cancer that he had. So, and he didn't really show it. It wasn't really until the final days that he started showing it. I mean, don't get me wrong, he moaned every now and again that he was in pain, but he sort of put it to one side, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I think he done that more than anyone.
Yeah, knowing obviously your dad over the years as well, through football and just his character in general, I think he probably wanted to block it out, as you say, for everyone around him to
Yeah,
put this brave face on, like what he's. Listen, I'm strong. I'm strong for everyone else, not
yeah,
just because I'm going through this doesn't mean I'm going to change my character and not be as strong as what I've always been. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's probably, from my perspective, what I probably know of. Obviously, your dad, that he probably thought, look, I might be, I might be dying, I might be doing this, but I'm still going to be strong overall
yeah.
for everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was that character, mate. You know him. You know him. You met him. He was always that character. My dad was always putting himself out there for people. You know what I mean? He'd give you the pound in his pocket. He really would. He was that sort of character. I know that when he was dealt this news, that as devastated as he was, at the same time he didn't want to make a big sing and dance about it. When I said to him that I think it'd be a good idea that you tell everyone about it, that he was really set against it at first. He didn't think it was the thing to do. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
only fair, because I sort of knew in the back of my head that this kind of cancer that he had was aggressive. You know what I mean? And I thought I didn't think that we would have long, to be honest with you. I said to my mum when he was given 18 to 20 months, I said, with the way that he's acting, I can't see that at all. And I was right, really. So yeah, I mean, obviously it was a lot shorter than what we thought. It wasn't even 2 to 3 months in the end. It was a matter of weeks. So it really got him quickly.
So if we go back to obviously the start, obviously when he first found out with it, and obviously that started doing the tests and that,
Yeah.
did he honest like obviously when you was going through what you was going through and everything like that, and as you touched on it, he turned around and he was so strong obviously for you, but he was obviously going through a lot himself obviously at the time as well. How do you think he actually got through that? You know what I mean? And his mind and everything like that.
Mate, to be honest with you, he's a lot stronger than what I thought. Because to go through what he went through with me, I mean, for people that don't know, my dad. The last 3 years really have been complete chaos for us as a family. My dad's brother in 2017, and then he lost his mum in 2018. And then what happened to me in 2019, and then he got dealt that news at the end of 2019, and we've lost him in 2020. So it's been a horrible 3 years for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't like to be in his shoes with what he went through, because it must have been so tough for him. You know what I mean? But like I keep saying, he never sort of showed it. You know what I mean? He was always the first one to have a laugh and a joke with you. You know what he's like, Jamie. He's the first one to buy you a beer when you're in the pub with him or in the bar with him. You know what I mean? He's just a character, and he's going to be greatly missed, mate. He's going to be greatly missed by.
Yeah, obviously, through friends and family, a lot of people are obviously in here to support you and obviously support your dad. And there's just some comments before we obviously touch on
Yeah.
other things. I'm sorry, I've got to stroll back because there's so many people in here tonight showing their support for you and obviously your dad. Sorry, I'm just going back on. So Smadger turned around and said, "Unbelievable, Joe, so strong." Um, Katie, no, I'm sorry. KA 6029 said, "You're an amazing young man, Joe." Katie Jones said, "He was a strong man. Like you said, never let anything bother him. Family was always first. Stay strong, Joe."
Cheers.
Sean, "You're amazing, Fordy. So strong. Rest in peace, Martin." Lee Haywood, legend Martin. Jacko, who's just come in, but he's obviously he turned around and said, "This is a nice one because he's never played for your dad, I don't think, but he said, 'Nice man, Martin. Gave me some good advice when I played against VCD. So, yeah, that was Reece Jackson. So
I know.
he was worried about other people as well, not only obviously his team and everything like that. He tried to give advice to everyone else, and I know that as well. Like he used to give me advice, obviously, about coaching wise and managing and everything like that. You know what I mean? So, Cozzy obviously helped my football career big time. RIP Martin, Danielle. So strong, you are amazing, Joe. They're just some of the comments, obviously, what have been in so far. Obviously, we're touching on the mental side of it. Obviously, as you touched on it, the last 3 years has been so devastating, as you say, for your family and everything what's gone through, especially obviously your dad and what
Yeah.
you've said. How obviously, apart from yourself, how is your family? Obviously, it's a funny question, but how are they actually feeling mentally and everything at this present time?
No, to be fair, it's they've been really strong, mate. My mum's been strong as a rock. I don't know in a way if what I've been through has sort of prepared them to be stronger people or what. But all I do know is that they've been amazing. Now, don't get me wrong. We've had our hours. We've been upset. We've been. I mean, we've cried together. We've laughed together. But it is us three now as well, and my granddad. Obviously, it is us four now: my mum, my sister, my granddad, and me. And
Yeah.
that's what we've been saying. That's how we've been coping and how we've been getting through. And we've also been saying that my dad weren't one of them people that would want me, my mum, my sister to be down in the dumps about things. He would want us to be actively getting on with our lives and actively wanting to make things more positive. You know what I mean? So he's given us that inspiration, really, if I'm honest with you, Jamie, for being the way that he was to carry on. I mean, I don't think I'd be sitting here now doing this talk live, to be honest with you, if I was upset and down in the dumps. You know what I mean? It's just something that I had to do, and he's going to inspire me every day now, mate, to go in.
Yeah, obviously, when I heard that news, obviously, like you messaged me on Monday when obviously Martin was still here at the time,
Yeah,
and you turned around and said, "Look, I want to come on the live again. I want
yeah,
to have a chat,
yeah,
and everything like that." And obviously, I had everyone lined up for Monday night, and I turned around and said, "100%, I'll have you on Thursday."
yeah.
One of my regrets maybe would have been that obviously, yeah, now I would have wanted you to obviously come on Monday night because he was still here. So I'm sorry for that, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, but he'd be looking over and he'll see how strong you are doing this now, you know what I mean? And he's gave you the strength, as you say,
Yeah.
to go forward. Obviously, with everything what you've gone through, and obviously going to go forward with as well. Obviously, with everything, how do you feel going forward? Obviously, what's your focus going to be now? Obviously, with the family and everything going forward.
Yeah, I mean, things obviously really haven't changed. If I'm honest with you, my focus is still to get back active and fit again in myself. That's always been my main aim. But now, obviously, I am going to be there a little bit more for my mum and my sister, because obviously that's what you do. That's family, and yeah, I mean, I would have been there for them anyway, of course. But obviously now. Now my dad's not here. I'm gonna make sure that obviously they don't want for nothing in life. You know what I mean? That's my aim now, and obviously that's what I'm gonna sort of inspire to be. Like I said, but it's strange. It's sad really, because a lot of people, when they get told that they've got cancer, often go on for a few months or years. You know what I mean? But it's just such a shame, to be honest with you, that he didn't have as long as what he should have had. Things that he wanted to do.
Yeah, and I think with everything with this lockdown as well, it's been hard because obviously he as well. I know that he would have been wanting to be down the pub around his friends a lot more and everything like that, and football games as well, like going out and seeing a lot of his friends at football and everything like that,
Yeah.
and this lockdown has completely and utterly stopped that. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Well,
um,
I'm sort of looking towards that. I mean, my dad done a lot in football, as you know. He won a lot of things, but he never won the Kent League, as they call it, the Scaffold League. So that's something now that I've got in the back of my head that I want to achieve. That's something that I'm looking to do, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it won't be something that you can do overnight, but it's definitely achievable, and that's something that I'd like to do in his honour. So that's another little positive mindset that I've got, and something I want to look to do.
Yeah, have you got, obviously, I don't know, you must have spoken over the years in general about aims and aspirations, obviously, with your dad going forward. Do you want to touch on any of them, like now? Like, obviously, you touched on
Yeah.
winning the Kent League because obviously your dad hadn't done that and you want to do that now. But is there other things what you've spoken to your dad about and you want to share with us?
I mean, in general, I always used to speak to about him about JMF coaching and sort of getting it to into a higher level. We've got an elite academy at the moment at JMF, but I do want to make that a better one, if that makes sense. I want to have a pool of players that are talented and that can come through the system that we can hopefully get to pro clubs and beyond. So yeah, I mean that was an ambition that I spoke about with Dad. My dad was really always passionate about my coaching, Jamie. He always, even though I wasn't as good a player as him, always said to me that I was a better coach than him. And I like to think that in a way, I learnt a lot from him in terms of his management style. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. My dad's got his people that obviously he get with, but he was a winner, mate. You know what I mean, my old man.
Yeah.
No matter what people say, I'll never be able to say that he wasn't honest and true to his word.
I think my thing obviously of football, you either love him or hate him the way he was, and if you didn't love him for what he thinks, you did respect him, like the job he's done at BCD and over the years at other clubs.
Well, there was a story actually when my old man passed away. I got a text message from somebody, and they said to me they were playing against my dad's VCD years ago. I forget, Maidstone or someone like that. And my dad's team were obviously it was 0-0 at half time, and my dad was giving the centre forward a lot of abuse and like you know what he's like. And forward scored 2 goals, and VCD lost 2-0 to them. Raging on the pitch, absolutely going mad, and giving this geezer loads of abuse. But when the game ended and they went up to the bar, my old man went and slapped him on the back and said, "Well played, son. Two great goals. What beer can I get you?" That was my old man, Jamie, in a nutshell. You know what I mean? And he was always like that. And yeah, like you said, he was loved or hated. Of course he was, but I think a lot of people always respected him, and that was the.
I think he was loved or hated on the football field in the dugout and everything like that. But as you said, like come away from it and go in the bar where obviously he loved to be around his friends and everything like that. I think you could sit down and you could talk hours on end with stories and just experiences of football, you know what I mean? And that's what he tried to pass on, I think, to many of his players, and obviously people like yourself and like myself and other players what are younger than him obviously coming through, you know what I mean? And that's what he tried to do, I think. Like, but as you say, he was a winner and he was always going to do it his way when he was in the dugout, and that's what I think, you know what I mean?
Changed, for all of his his wrongs. He never changed, you know what I mean? But that was him. He was always true to his word, Jamie. You know what I mean? He always believed in himself, and he was. Listen, he's touched a lot of people's lives. You know what I mean, through football. I mean, I haven't got to go on and on, but I mean, just give you an example. Obviously, when we found out that my dad was ill, there was a WhatsApp group set up, and I think it's got 40, 50 people in it, of people, of past players, ex-friends, you know what I mean, ex-teammates, that have all just, what they've said about him has just been unbelievable. And to be honest with you, it's helped get me through, you know what I mean, seeing all the old stories about him, seeing all the tricks he got up to in the past, and hearing all the different things that he done, you know what I mean, it makes you laugh, it makes you cry. And obviously it's really touching that he's touched so many people's lives. We had in his final days, I'm talking like people that wanted to visit him. I mean, not everyone could because of what's going on, you know what I mean? But it's a horrible situation with the COVID and stuff. But mate, I think honestly, if everyone had come and visited him that wanted to, mate, I think it would have been over 500 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Crazy.
There's more comments obviously coming in. There's only one gaffer from Nave. Witsy 10, Fordy, my football pal, and Joe, a truly inspirational young man. Best success for a bright future for you and your family. Ibs, Egos, my best mate Joe, amazing friend.
Dave.
Tony Tony Cornish said he was well respected wherever you played for him or against him.
Yep.
Hannah, my oldest pal, Joe Ford, you're simply amazing. Big Fordy, I love you forever. Aidan Fernandez, best manager I ever had, Fordy. Them VCD days were memorable, RIP. Tony again, you've got so much of his good attributes, Joe, top man.
Good job I ain't got his bad ones.
Yeah, inspirational. Well done, Joe. True inspirational, mate. Stay strong. So everything coming in, obviously, and it's probably exactly what. Obviously, this is just on a live now, but as you say, you've probably had like hundreds of messages.
Oh,
Family has had hundreds of messages as well. Yeah, again, for the one.
Forest, it's crazy, crazy.
That's what I mean, and everyone's, as you say, everyone's going to remember him. And the fact of the matter is, he's touched so many people's football and away from football's lives, and that's a respect and a compliment to him. You know what I mean? And he done it his way, as you say. He done it his way. A lot of people change their ways throughout the years, but you can never say that about Martin. You know what I mean? The fact of the matter is, he done it his way, and as we keep on saying, you either loved him or hate him for it, but you respected him for it because he never changed his morals throughout the years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So obviously, yeah, as going forward, and your plans, obviously going forward, you've turned around and said, also obviously, what are the plans, obviously, as a family going forward? How do you feel you're going to get through it? Obviously together, but apart from being together, how do you think you're going to get through it?
Be honest, taking one day at a time, Jay. Obviously, when someone passes away in the circumstances like my old man, there's a lot of stuff that you've got to go through. You know what I mean? Organising stuff. So we found out today that my dad's funeral is going to be on the 20th of June. So obviously that was nice to know that obviously we'll be able to lay him to rest that day. But yeah, I mean, we just literally, mate, taking one day at a time, and not rushing, not thinking too far ahead. I don't think you can. I think if anything, if this has taught me anything, mate, it's just to take life as it comes. You know what I mean? And enjoy every moment, because like you said, one day you're told that you're going to be okay, and then the next 3 months you're not here anymore. So yeah, 100%. You just got to live for the moment, mate, and keep taking one day at a time, in my opinion.
Yeah, Manzi just said you got his bad jokes.
Yes, yeah, I have, mate. I have. Unfortunately,
yeah. And Emily turned around and said as well, yeah, you got his banter.
Yeah, cheers, Bella.
So yeah, no, but as I say, like, I think, as you say, you've got to smile about it. You've got to, like, obviously there is sad times here and there, what you're going to think about it, but overall you've got to smile about the man, what he was, you know what I mean, and what he still is in a lot of people's eyes now, and obviously in their hearts, you know what I mean, as well.
A lot of people are sort of saying to me, I don't know how you're doing this so quickly, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I said it to you, you know what I mean?
But the thing is that I'm only remembering the good times, Jay. I'm not remembering the last 5-6 months with him, you know what I mean? I'm just remembering all the good times I had with him, and there's so many I can't even mention them. So obviously, you know that, like I said before, I grew up with him, so there's so many good times to look back on. There's no point. The bad times are a real minority, to be honest, compared to the good times, in terms of percentage. So I mean, there's no point sitting and wallowing on bad times. You might as well all the good ones that you had, you know what I mean, and remember it for that. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do each day, to be honest with you. And don't get me wrong, there's times where I mean, someone sent me a video yesterday of us winning the cup at the Priestfield Stadium, and I was live on his knees, and it brought a tear to me eye, you know what I mean?
I was there, mate. I was there that night.
And it brought a tear to my eye. You start asking yourself questions like, what more did he want to do? Was he proud of me? Was this, was that? And you do start asking yourself that. But ultimately, mate, you can only remember the good times and think to yourself, yeah, like I had the best times with my dad. You know what I mean? And no one can ever take that away from you. So that's what I'm thinking about each day, and that's why I'm in such a positive mindset at the moment.
Yeah. I don't know if there was any particular message when he was going through the hard times, what he wanted to obviously send to his friends and family members.
My old man was always what happened in the final stages is obviously he didn't really you know, Jamie, he always used to connect with people on Facebook. That was his thing.
Yeah.
And in the final stages he just couldn't hold his iPad up anymore, and he couldn't make sense of it, and he locked himself out of his phone, unfortunately, and things like that, and he couldn't really send any messages. But I know that if he was here today, or what he would want, and all he would say is thank you to everyone. You know what I mean? He really would, because that's all you can say. He's just had so many messages of support. Thousands of people that don't even know him, texting him and wishing him better. You know what I mean? And I know he would have been gutted that he couldn't fight this a little bit longer. I know he would have been gutted about that, but because he was a fighter, the old man, and he was gutted about that. But ultimately, all he would say is thank you to everyone, and yeah, obviously he'll see you on the other side for a beer, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think, as you say, I think maybe one of his regrets, like it may seem funny or whatever, but I think it would be to go to that one last football game and have that pint after the game, or go down the pub and just his group of mates be there. You know what I mean? So that's probably one of the regrets he'd have.
I was thinking about it the other day, to be honest with you, because he obviously we had the game against SE Dons, didn't we, where I got all my old mates back together in aid of sepsis, and
yeah.
I shared a touchline with my old man. You know what I mean? So that was something that I can look back on and smile, because that was after I got out of hospital, which is, and to be honest with you, when I was sitting in that hospital, I didn't ever think that I'd be sharing a touchline with him again. You know what I mean? I just didn't. And to have that night and to look back on that night was quite special. And obviously it is YouTube, and there's a speech that he does at the end about doing it again, and we will make sure that we do it again. It's aid of sepsis, it will be an aid of him.
Yeah, 100%. Geordie said, remarkable young man, Joe. Junior Baker said, legendary man. Martin Driscoll said, RIP, Gaffer. We had some great days at Vickers.
We did.
You are credit to him, Joe. Spoke fantastically. Yeah. To be fair, I find this hard, obviously, asking the questions to you as well and everything like that. And I said to you the other day, I turned and said, you sure you want to do this? And you was 100% strong that you wanted to do this. You know what I mean? And credit to you. And as I said on social media, it's like you're so brave for doing it. And that's a credit that your old man has showed you that way, be brave, be strong throughout it, because that's what he was.
Yeah, so, I really do. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the messages. There's been a lot of messages of people saying the same thing, and I appreciate it. I don't think I'm anything special though by doing it, to be honest with you, mate. Like I said, it's just something that I feel that he would have wanted, and it was something that I wanted to share. You know what I mean? But I've got to say as well, Jamie. Like, just moving on to, obviously, this whole show is about mental health, and I wanted to mention that the people that have been around, you know what I mean, and showed support. Like, honestly, it's been incredible, mate. Like, I'm talking about. I know we've got this social distance thing going on, but I'm talking about people being outside my door if I need. You know what I mean? On the end of a phone if I needed them. Like, I mean, he's in this chat at the moment, but Martin Whitman has been unbelievable. All of the boys from that sort of era that played and got managed by my dad, Paul Anderson. Tony Cornish that was on here, all of them have been sending messages of support. Tommy Warrilow, who's obviously at Ashford now, who used to play with my dad. Loads and loads of people on that group have been amazing, as well as obviously friends, like close friends. Like, I mean, I told you before, I was lucky enough to have a lot of close friends wrapped around me when I was going through what I was going through, but I'm going through now, and they're there even more. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm really lucky in that respect, and to be honest with you, that's what's got me through.
Right. And obviously, as you say, that's what the message was, obviously, for this, before even your old man passing away and everything. The message for this chat with yourself and everyone else who's come on before, the message is, let us talk. Just if you've got a problem, like in it might be the smallest problem, and you feel it's the smallest problem, but just talk about it, because otherwise it can go worse and worse. You know what I mean? And it can affect you.
Yeah, I've been listening to all your shows on a weekly basis, mate. To be honest with you, and one common denominator that a lot of people have been talking about, and I know you talk about it quite a lot, is in people that you didn't necessarily think were the closest to you.
Yeah.
It might be someone that you've just met, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
they turn out to sometimes be the rocks behind it. I mean, I can give you an example. I mean, I met somebody in February that I got talking to, and she's been through a similar situation with her dad. And she's been like a rock to me. You know what I mean? She's been through that experience, and I can't thank her enough, Jamie. I know what you know what I mean. I mean, I even said to her today on the phone that she's been great, and she's like, well, "What have I done? I haven't done anything." But
Mm.
you know yourself, Jamie, sometimes them people that just talk to you and tell you things are going to be okay and that
Yeah.
they make a big difference sometimes, you know what I mean? And she's certainly done that massively. I won't mention her name because I'll get told off, but obviously, yeah, she's been incredible, you know what I mean? As well as obviously family, don't get me wrong, like my mum's been a rock of support for me, my sister,
Yeah.
there for me as well, you know what I mean? And as well as all the, like I said, all the lads that have been there as well, sometimes the support you get from people that you wouldn't expect is unbelievable. So yeah, thank you to them.
Yeah, Harry Gamble said the old man is looking down on you. Proud Joe, R.I.P. Fordy.
Cheers,
Li-
Gambo.
little Miss D said, so proud of you, Joe. I'm always here if you need me. That's McGinty, ain't it? Yeah, Chris McGinty. Well done, Joe. Never met your old man, mate, but going through social media and it shows what a respected man he was and what an impact he has on non-league football. Uh,
McGinty, you though, when I asked you, did
yeah, well, that's Chris all over. You never know what he's gonna do. You know what I mean? You never know what he's gonna do.
yeah,
But yeah, obviously touching on what you just said, obviously with the lives and you've been watching the lives, going
yeah,
off obviously the subject a little bit with your dad and that.
yeah, it's fine.
But what are your thoughts on because I spoke to Kevin George and it's opened my eyes up a little bit more about it. Do you feel that in football or in an educational setting,
Yeah.
there should be more specialists, not just people what have gone on like maybe a 2 day course. It should be more specialists in them settings about mental health.
Oh,
So it help.
1,000%, mate. Yeah, I definitely think that it should be spoke about a lot more. I think it should be. I think mental health should be educated at a younger age. It doesn't really get taught, does it? Let's be honest. So
No.
definitely think it's something that should be on the curriculum 100%. I mean, I'm not talking about scaring kids. You know what I mean? We don't
Mm.
want to talk, but I think they need to be made aware that as they get older, they can suffer from mental problems. You know what I mean? I think that's the way that the world's going at the moment, and the more that we can educate young people and about this, obviously, I think the better.
Yeah, I feel as well. We spoke about it. I spoke about it with like Junior the other night and a couple of the others as well. I
Yeah,
said feel like sometimes it gets caught up with these qualifications and everything like that as well. That sometimes it may be somebody like yourself or like myself who's gone through struggles or mental health issues and come out the other side and a lot stronger that can tell their story and it's more relatable to the younger people um, when you're a younger person who's gone through it. Do you feel that is the case as well?
yeah, definitely, mate. I think that once you've experienced mental health and once you've been through it, then obviously you know what I mean. So if people that are older can pass on that experience to younger people that haven't been through it, then that's great. You know what I mean. But like I said before, I don't think we want to be scaring kids into worrying about it too much because some people luckily go through life without suffering mental health issues. You know what I mean? And as big as a subject it is, at the same
Mm.
time, we don't want to push this on people and give them a burden
Yeah.
to suffer from mental health for the sake of it. You know what I mean? If they can go
Mm.
from it, then I think that's brilliant. You know what I mean? So I don't
Mm.
think that that's something that we need to pressurise too much on them. But I do think that it's something that they need to be aware could happen. And obviously, if it does happen, they need to have the proper support for it.
Yeah, 100%. Gaz turned around and said, "Well done, Joe. Dad would be proud from the only person at Phoenix he poached and liked."
Harry Andrews, yeah.
Yeah. Lee Haywood said, "Joe, Dad would be so proud of you. He was and always will be what one of the biggest names in non-league football. He was an amazing person and character. I think we should speak to VCD and name the main stand after him.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea.
Your mum obviously has put thumbs up to that. I think that's your mum, isn't it? And Martin Driscoll said it as well. Obviously, Luke's in here. Luke Holman. He said health is wealth, and health can be mental or physical. 100% agree with that. Everyone's obviously putting thumbs up to different things and everything like that as well. What's being said. Obviously, yeah, we've gone nearly an hour now, but obviously, again, for the ones what wasn't here at the start, I know that Joe wants to again say thank you to everyone, really. So I'll let you do that, Joe.
Yeah, mate. No, like I said to you before, like obviously this platform gives you when your phone's going off 24/7, which it has been for the last few days, as you can imagine, you don't really get a chance to get back to everyone, which is why I thought obviously coming on a platform like this would be a lot easier just to thank everyone for their support. Throughout the last sort of couple of months, it has been unbelievable, you know what I mean, and I'm really thankful for it, as my family. So obviously a big thank you to everyone that's even sent a text message or give me a phone call or pop round, you know what I mean. I can't thank anybody enough, really. It's been truly sort of heartbreaking, really, in a way, because people have been obviously sending messages that get you upset and stuff, you know what I mean. But it's been unbelievable. The response that we've had from it's been unbelievable, and my dad would have liked that. I know he would have, because, like I said, despite all of his wrongs that he's had in the past, you know what I mean, it makes you realise how many people did actually respect him and like him, you know what I mean, despite what they say. I've had texts from people that he's had run-ins with for years, you know what I mean, and he was. So it's it's been incredible, mate. And all I really wanted to say on this platform was just a big thank you to everyone. I can't thank anyone enough, nor can my family. And obviously, we'll be doing everything now in the future to make him proud. And obviously, his legend will live on.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, yeah. Last words from you. Is there any particular message you want to send from you, your family, and obviously your dad in general?
No, I mean, like I said to you before, mate, I just hope people, like I said, if one person can take a little bit of inspiration from this story in terms of how we're getting on with things and managing and coping, then that's great. I think the whole message that you're reaching out to everyone, let us talk. I think that's the main thing. I think people have got to talk about it. I mean, I know I feel a lot better after coming on here tonight and having a chat and seeing everyone's messages. And if this story can inspire one person, like we said earlier, mate, when we were chatting, then that does things, does it? That makes things all worthwhile, you know what I mean. But like I keep saying, people keep saying, "Oh, Joe, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that." But honestly, I'm not. I'm just a son that wanted to come on here and sort of have a chat for my dad and obviously do him proud.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. As I said to you, Joe, I think you're really brave. Obviously, coming on so close after your dad. I know he's loved by and he'd be missed by everyone in non-league football, and obviously away from non-league football who he's touched. So, thank you very much for obviously coming on tonight, Joe. Keep safe. Hold your family. From me and obviously everyone in here, if you need anything, just pick up the phone, mate. You know what I mean, and let me know.
Appreciate that a lot, top man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, cool, Joe. Thank you very much for that, mate. Keep safe. Speak soon, mate.
Good day, guys. Bye.
Bye. Oh, yeah. So that was Joe Ford. Thank you for everyone, obviously tuning in tonight. I know everyone's putting in their messages to Joe and the family. And obviously, Martin was loved by many people. He's touched many people in the football world and away from the football world, and he'd be sorely missed. As I said at the start, this live is dedicated to Martin Ford. May him rest in peace now, and his family. Obviously, have been very brave, and Joe's been very brave tonight coming on. I appreciate him coming on and speaking about his story and his rehab as well going forward, and also obviously the good stories of Martin and what he was, and also going through the last few months. Again, Martin, rest in peace. I'm back on Monday night with 4 new guests. Hopefully you can tune in at 8 o'clock, speaking about mental health again. If anyone's struggling at these times, reach out to me and reach out to anyone else as well close to you. Don't struggle about them, even if they're very, very small. Reach out to me. I'm happy to speak to you. Back on Monday night at 8 o'clock. Let us talk. Keep safe, everyone. I'll see you on Monday night. Bye.